Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. So I decided to go ahead and make a video. One of the subscribers asked a couple of questions and asked me to do a video, and I'm like, you know what? Sure. So I'm going to answer some questions they have and maybe you have also. So let's get into it. Okay, so one of the questions was, once you get that call, what do you say? So somebody calls you, you need to ask them some key questions, 3 of them that mean the most for me personally. Location, where are you located? So even if they call you or if they text you and you're texting, you need to ask these questions. Where are you located? That's going to dictate how long you got to drive, how far you got to drive. So then that's going to say how much you're going to charge. Then you want to ask them how many documents. That's going to tell you how many times you got to put that stamp down, how long it's going to take you to do this appointment. Because if it's one stamp, but it's like a whole entire 20-page packet that needs initial and all of that, you need to know that because that's going to dictate how much you charge. And then other than that, you want to know what type of document for 2 reasons. One, because that's going to help you decide how much you're going to charge. And then 2, that's going to let you know the requirements. So if a person wants to do a power of attorney or a will or something like that, or a quick claim deed or something like that, you need witnesses. So before you make that appointment, you need to make sure that whatever the document is that they have doesn't require witnesses. Because if you show up and it needs witnesses and you don't have a witness and they don't either, now you've wasted your time and your gas and you ain't gonna make no money. So make sure you ask those 3 questions because those are very important. Now, another tip that I said in my other videos, but I'm gonna say it again, just in case you haven't watched them. If you haven't, go watch them. But if you have a smartwatch, an Apple Watch, you can put those questions on your watch and save them. So if you can't answer your phone, if you're working or if you're with another client and somebody texts you about notary, you can send that message instantly that you already have saved on your watch. That alone has made me so much money because sometimes I am not physically able to answer my phone because first I work 9 to 5. So if I'm working, I can't answer the phone. But what I can do is push one button on my watch and send a message that, hey, I'm with another client. How may I help you? And then you can, when you are available, you can set up an appointment for that time. But if you don't answer at all, they're going to move on to the next one. If you don't answer, you don't respond, they're going to just go to the next number in their Google or on their phone or whatever. Know your state laws. Put in the name of your state and put in notary state laws. And Google that and get your handbook. It should be free to download. I know here in Florida it is. But you need to know your laws because you need to know how much you can charge, if you can charge travel, if you can't. It tells you everything you can and cannot do. So you get on YouTube and sometimes you look at some people's videos and that information is good for their state, but it might not be good for your state. So you personally need to know your state laws in order to make the best decisions when you're doing these transactions, okay? So that means, like, for myself in Florida, the stamp is $10 a stamp. There's no cap on how much we can charge far as traveling. You're not gonna charge too much because if you charge too much, they're gonna call around and they're gonna pick somebody else. So you ultimately gotta make sure, and you can't be the cheapest because then you ain't gonna make no money. And that's why we're here, right? So you wanna be like right in the middle. And if you wanna know, I said this in another video, if you wanna know exactly how much you should be charging, you need to do your own research. Go on your Google, put in notary near me, call a couple of people in your area, and ask them. Act like you're a client and that you're looking for services. Get their prices. Write them down. So if one it says 200, somebody else says 100, you need to be at 150. You need to be right in the middle so you can get good business. You ain't gonna charge too much, but you don't want to be at the very bottom either. Okay? So when you go to your notary appointment, in your car at all times, you need to have this. Let me show you. This is my accordion style. You see this? I got this from Walmart. Less than $5. Don't look at my nails. They look bad. Anyway, less than $5, right? It opens up like this. And look. Can you see that? I have all kinds of documents in here, and these are copies. So if I'm on an appointment and somebody messed up on their document, I got an extra right here. There's no need to cancel the appointment. I have another one. There's no need to try to white out or anything like that, because we all know you can't white nothing out, right? Okay. So you want to have all your copies. So first you want to have something simple like an invoice and a receipt book in here. Because if you do an appointment and somebody say, oh, can I have a receipt? Well, if all of that's home, then how you going to give them a receipt? So you need to have all of that in here. You need to have like an invoice, all of your regular everyday documents that people usually call you for, like an I-9 form, a VIN verification, power of attorneys. So you like non-durable, durable, general. What else? What is like my norm? Definitely VIN verifications. Travel consent forms. People always need those for their kids. Passport documents for the kids. What else? Wills. So, whenever I do a power of attorney, I always tell them about a will. After we finish, I'm like, oh, just to let you know, this is good for while they're alive. But once they pass away, say it in a nice way, it won't be any good. You need a will, a last will and testament. And they'll be like, oh. So now you done already did that. And now you have the potential to do another service for them. If not that day, another day. You let them know. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I don't have a will. You don't. Guess what I got? I have a will right here. It's a blank one. You can write in all your wishes. And as long as you have two, not one, two witnesses, you can get that done. Because remember, on the power of attorney and the will, we as notaries cannot be witnesses. They have to have their own witnesses that are not like their immediate family. If it's a cousin, auntie, or something, that'll work. Okay? So anyway, long story short, I always keep this in my vehicle. Always. So if I'm somewhere and somebody asks me, oh, well, do you have this document? A lot of times these, I have them in my email also. So I can email it to a person if they want to print it out themselves. But if a person needs something printed out and they don't have access to a printer, sure, you can do it. But guess what? That's a fee, right? You pay for ink or toner. You pay for paper. Okay, so that's another fee. So you need to add on. And while you're on the phone, you need to be coming up with the price. When they tell you where they're located, while they're telling you, be on your map quest, putting in that address so you can see how far it is. That'll let you know how much you're going to charge them. So you need to find out how far it is, how many documents. That's how many stamps you're going to do. You need to be adding that up in your head. Okay, 10, 20, 30. Okay. Then you want to turn around and make sure you ask all these questions and then have your thing in your mind. Because you know already, if they're doing a power of attorney, that's going to take a long time. Because that person who's signing needs to initial all these pages. Then this person got to get it notarized. And then the person they're giving the power to, they got to sign and get that notarized. You need witnesses. Listen, it takes a lot to do that. Price them accordingly. Okay? And if you want to know how to price for a general notary, go look at my playlist. I already got like a whole video talking about how to set up your prices. So go ahead and check that out. How do you prepare? So first, you want to make sure that you look nice. You don't want to have anything on that's showing your boobs. You don't want to have anything that's on that's wrinkled. You don't want to have like no bright neon colors on. Like you want to look professional. You don't have to dress in your Sunday best. But you got to be presentable. Come on. And even if right now you're starting out, I'm going to be very real with y'all. Don't judge me. But you can go to, I'm going to tell you how my grandma used to say it, the GW Boutique. That's the Goodwill. So the Salvation Army, the Goodwill, whatever it is, and get you one or two nice things. If you don't have like a nice button-up dress shirt or just a one-piece nice dress dress or a blazer or something like that and you don't really have the money right now, don't be too proud. You can get something nice that's used, wash it and iron it and make it look very nice. So you get you something nice to wear and you'll be ready. So, and I'm going to say this too, no flip-flops. That looks so unprofessional. Even though you're doing that one thing for them, you never know who your repeat customers are going to be. When I say that, I mean, not even if they might not need you, but what if their cousin needs you or their sister or their grandmother or whatever it is. You want them to be able to recommend you because first, you showed up on time. Second, you look very professional. You didn't have on no short shorts or shorts at all. You had on some nice, presentable clothes. You looked like you were ready to do business and you looked like the professional that you are. For your business cards and for your website, you need to have a professional picture. That's like from here up. Not your whole body, not standing with your hands on your hips, showing your booty, popping that thing out. Listen, that ain't the time. You need a professional picture. And so if you don't have the money to, I never did like the professional ones that you go pay somebody for. You know what I do? I stand up against a blank wall, not like this. This is my living room. But a blank wall, like a gray wall, a white wall or whatever. Stand up against it and I'll have somebody take my picture. Or you can do the selfie thing and crop it. And so it's a plain background and you can use that for your business cards. You can use that for your website. If you're making flyers, you can use that because you want something nice and presentable, but not with like a whole lot of craziness in the background. Something that looks presentable, okay? Now, another thing she asked me was, what is in my notary bag? So first I want to point out that I have a whole video further down the line that goes over everything that's in my notary bag. And it's a long, detailed one, but it shows you every single thing that's in here. And then you kind of pick and choose what you think is appropriate for yourself. This is my notary bag. It's not expensive. I literally bought this from Marshall's. I'm a Marshall and Ross shopper. So I want to say Marshall's because it's Nautica. It's cute. It's not real expensive because ultimately when you start out, if you started out as a loan signing agent, you didn't have a lot of money because it costs so much money to start out as a loan signing agent. You need a scanner. You need a $500 printer. You need a lot of stuff. Notary, it's not going to cost that much. But I'm going to just show you a couple of things that's in here, okay? Real quick. This is, look, can y'all see it? This is ink for my stamp. If you're in the middle of an appointment and you got all of these documents or whatever, and your stamp is not dark enough or it's only stamping on one side, your appointment is officially over. You cannot use those stamps. You need to always keep this with you. You hear me? Always. Definitely. And definitely have your stamp. Excuse that. You need to have your stamp. So listen, this is my spare stamp. I have several stamps. Please get more than one stamp. You ultimately need a stamp for your car. You need one for your house. You need at least 3 stamps. Okay? And in the beginning, you can have that one. But after you start making you some money, get you some more stamps. You can get them on Amazon. You can get it on Notary Rotary. You can get them a lot of places. But go ahead and get you some more stamps. Believe me, you will wish you did. Look. And this is my receipt book. Compliments of Dollar Tree. You don't have to go to Staples and all of that and spend $10. It could be $1.25. Okay? Really, really quick. What do you always want to have? Masks. Because you never know going into a hospital or a retirement center or something like that. Recently, I had to go into one and they didn't require you have them. But once I got into the actual room, the person I was signing for, their roommate said that, oh, I'm not feeling good. She was hacking and coughing. Instantly, I pulled out my mask. It wasn't required, but she hacking and coughing, and this is a retirement center. That don't sound so good. So you better always have you a mask, okay? Let's see. Something else. Pens. See this? Bunch of them. Yes, you can have a nice little pencil pen bag. I don't have one. See that? A rubber band. I just have me a bunch of pens, black and blue, in here. Because what if one stop writing? What if your document requires blue pen and all you have black pens? Any real estate documents normally blue. Let's see. Anything else that is a must-have? Let's see. No. So I have this. So when you're doing appointments with older people and they can't see and they can't find their glasses, no need in sitting there for an hour waiting on them to find them. Have you a little magnifier. These are at, look, I hope you can see it. These are at Dollar Tree. So you can get it there. And it's definitely necessary. And I would just say this also. This is a little chalkboard. It's from Dollar Tree. But what I will tell you, if you're dealing with an older person that can't remember the date, can't remember how to sign, what name to write, this is going to help you tremendously. And you're going to be glad you have it. So this is my little chalk that I write with it for that chalkboard. And then I have this. This is a chalk pen. If you can see that. So ultimately, it's just like a chalk marker. And you can write on here nice and neat to help them remember. And you always want to have like sanitizer. And instead of that little one, I just get like a good size one like this. And so they like to see that. So you sit down, you open this thing out, you start giving it out to everybody. Everybody rubbing their hands, getting ready. Let's be, and let's do something. They like that. That's showing cleanliness and that's showing you going the extra mile. You want to always do something like that because they'll think twice about using you again. It's all about building a rapport. Always make sure to be nice, compliment, make jokes, like something small, but build a good rapport with them. Because ultimately, if you don't, why would they call you again? You want them to have it fresh in their mind that you are so nice. I just love her. She's so nice. Remember that. And no matter what, always remember before your appointment is over, ask them, hey, do you mind if I send you a link for my Google business page so that you can leave me a review? So that's reminding them. So when they see that thing say bing on their phone, they know that's what you were talking about. So before you leave, once you go get in your car, you go on your Google business page and you go ahead and you send that over to them. Don't leave because you'll forget. I do. If I leave, I will forget. So don't leave. Send it right before you leave and go on to do whatever else you got to do. But send it because Google works on the algorithm, just like YouTube. And it wants to see, 1, that you're answering the phone, and 2, that you're getting reviews, and 3, you're adding pictures. You need pictures, 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 pictures. If you're not adding any, Google going to think you closed, and they're not going to give you business. So for all of those other tips about Google My Business, go look on my other video because I have a whole lot of information about that, okay? Oh no, one more thing. And once again, I've covered this in my other video, but I'm going to show you again just in case you haven't looked at my video. If you haven't, shame on you. So anyway, this is my handy dandy clipboard. See that? You see right down here? That's where all my pens live right there. You see that? I keep all my pens in there. And I'm going to show you this. Look. You can open it up. It opens. So if you need a certain document, it can be in here. And this is what I do. I actually have extra clipboards in my clipboard. You see that? So there's more than one. And somebody's at my door. So long story short, that's what you're going to need, okay? Any other video offers or suggestions? Let me know. I'm open to it. Thank you so much for coming by my channel. Have a good rest of